We have Friday night football and Friday night football on BCSN, and it's Wednesday, so now every week we've got Sidekicks. So happy to have our BCSN analyst Francis Stevens with us in studio and the executive director for Pacesetters, Matthew Mountford. We keep saying this is the most wonderful time of the year when we're talking about all these different sports, and for you guys, high school soccer is back. This really is the most wonderful time of the year.
It definitely is, and it kind of came pretty quickly. We were just kind of talking about that in the back, like how fast everything kind of happened. I think my parents were right back in the day. As you get older, time goes by faster. So, middle of July is here now. We're the second week of high school soccer. It's pretty fun.
Definitely, couldn't agree more. It's that time of year where we're so excited, and it just seems to come by like a whirlwind almost. It's kind of like a month of doing hardly anything, it feels like, and then all of a sudden, boom, we're smack back into the middle of it, and it's a great time to be here for sure.
And it can be a staggered start for some of these teams. Like St. John still hasn't played a game as of tonight, but you go back to last week, Southview opens their season, and for the boys, I don't think you can start any better than this. Dylan Johnson, a hat-trick hero in the season opener.
You couldn't write it. You couldn't have write it more perfectly. It was a great performance, not only individually but collectively as well from the Cougars. And yeah, it doesn't get better than that, does it?
The biggest thing for me comes to experience, and you really look at that team from last year. They lost names like Nate Shuley, who's now at Lourdes, Tyler Palicki, who just played his first exhibition for University of Findlay. A lot of some other great names they've had in the last few years. Dylan and his brother Justin were part of that team last year that made a run to the last 8 and really pushed the 12-time state champion, won it for the 4th straight year, St. Ignatius, for about a half and some change. I think the biggest thing for this Southview team is they stick to their guns. They're very, very simple. They know what kind of style they play because they have that identity, that blue-collar blueprint that they have, that they like to play. Coach Kufel's been doing this a very, very long time. I mean, he dealt with me back in the day for so many years ago.
Last Friday night was that first big night of high school soccer in this area for boys and girls. And you got some of those heavy hitters going up against each other right away. Francis, you were on the call for some of those. What stood out to you?
The biggest thing for me, what stood out to me was Sylvania Southview's performance. And really, I would probably say is this, BJ Leidy's getting there. And sure. I think he's going to push some teams up in that Buckeye division of the NOL. Be patient with the process. It's not where you start, it's where you finish. Like I tell everybody, don't be worried about, if you're 0-7, it'd be at the end of the year, now you got to panic. But if you're 0-1 right now, you're in a good spot to kind of keep building from that.
No, definitely, and tremendous credit does go to BJ Leidy. I think that, the way that they try and play, certainly the build out from the back, they look to play through the thirds, create exploit overloads and getting behind early. And that's going to cause a lot of teams a lot of problems.
It's not how you start, it is how you finish. You can say that again and again. But now that we have started the season, I think we kind of have an idea of at least who has looked good so far. So boys and girls, I want you each to pick one. Who's somebody that we need to keep an eye on for the next few weeks and months here?
I would have to probably say it, and I've had to say this kind of unbiasedly because I used to coach there, but I think the start for what St. Francis de Sales has done, their first 2 games, in my opinion, and everybody's opinion, you probably think Anthony Wayne and Perrysburg are going to be the 2 teams in the area. Obviously we haven't seen St. John's yet. St. Francis disposal of both of them 4-1. 8 goals in the first 2 games, and again, the emergence of a kid that we probably didn't talk about a whole lot about, Ryan Bossenbrock, 2 goals in the first 2 games. They got some really, really good young players. Josh Brennan really stepped up, 2 goals on Friday night. They got some really good freshmen in Caden Gordy, Gavin Trent. We've won 3 district titles in 5 years. They have a culture, they have a purpose there. And I think we both agree, for the girls at least, Perrysburg looked really, really good on the opening night. I get St. Ursula and Northview on Saturday afternoon. We'll see where that is. But I think right now with Perrysburg, what they have with Addison Brown, Emma Ogdal, who in my opinion is probably one of the most dynamic players in the area, was a Golden Boot winner at U.S. Nationals two summers ago. I think that Perrysburg side's going to be good. But Anthony Wayne, Lori Williams knows how to get that team in the right spot when it matters.
And that's exactly what I was going to say is, while we do appreciate Perrysburg, we're also very aware that Coach Williams knows exactly what she's doing and has been around. That they're going to surprise a few people. I know they're quite a young team, but they're kind of blending with experience as well. And I'm really excited to see what they do. And obviously Coach Williams speaks for herself. So
BCSN now, you know where to find him and us. Matthew Mountford is the executive director for Pacesetters. That's where you can find him, and we'll be here every Wednesday night for Sidekicks.